What we do here is go back.
Oh, that'll do. I'm completely out of shot, but never mind. Good evening everyone, Mike here, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. It is Saturday the something of something. What's the date? 23rd. 23rd of July.
That's my granddad's birthday.
And I just realised this thing is right in the way, and it's certainly warming up. It's not been as hot as it has been for this week. For those of you that are viewers in the UK, this week has been somewhat crazy temperatures towards the start of the week, and then it's basically been humid and overcast and not particularly sunny. Although typically the sun has just started coming out just before we started filming. Bizarrely, I thought we were starting at 9. I did set the stream for 9 o'clock. And I said to Kath, oh, excuse me, we stream at 8, don't we? She's like, yeah. It's like, ah, shit. I didn't put that in. So anyway, my mistake. I've got a couple of cameras extra today. So we've got the overhead, which hopefully will work. So there is the overhead. How you doing? Hopefully the audio is coming through okay on there. I'll do some quick checks, make sure the audio is okay and the visuals are okay. That looks like that's zoomed in actually. Let me see if that is zoomed in. No, that is fine. Okay, so we can work with that. The other is our webcam. So let's see if that works. There's the webcam. Is there anything embarrassing in that shot? No, I don't think so. That's absolutely fine. There's the two cats, absolutely riveted, and they're actually on top of the case which we're supposed to be unboxing tonight. Yeah, that's right, Flame. I'm looking at you. Miserable. Anyway, so, oh, and let's go back to the main camera. There we go. The super chats have just come in. Thank you, Bob. Bob's started off things with a £10 super chat. It says, so you had the stream started at 9 PM Bristol summertime. That is absolutely right. Yeah, I completely messed it up. I'm an absolute moron at the best of times. For those of you wondering why we didn't stream last week was horrible. I had a really, really bad throat, which is has been getting much better, but today I seem to have eaten something which is not agreed very well with my throat condition, so it's a little bit sore. So it's all in my esophagus and it's just driving me insane. It's like a reflux thing, so yeah. I've just got to watch out what I'm eating, so I'm going through working out what works and what doesn't, so I can get my diet dialed in so it suits what is going on in my body at the moment. Yeah, lots of fun. It's already getting bloody hot in here. So anyway, thank you for the super chat, Bob. Back is better. I've actually got some mobility. This time last week, I was, for want of a better word, crippled. I could basically not do a great deal at all. I had some twinge in my lower back, which bizarrely, this is so sad. This is why the gentlemen should not be doing housework. It was something so stupid. Kath asked me to bring down the washing basket, which we have in our bedroom, and I literally just brought the washing basket down the stairs, went into the kitchen, bent over to put it onto the floor, and something just went in my back. And at the time, it was like, oh, bloody hell, that hurt.
Maybe you thought I meant you to do the washing.
Yeah, I didn't do the washing. So yeah, I put the basket down and twinged my back. It's like, oh, bloody hell, that hurt. And it gradually got worse and worse. So whatever I did clearly got quite inflamed and angry, and gradually actually got worse over the next 2 days. So something was definitely trapped in my back, I think. But yeah, taking it easy, doing a few back exercises and all that kind of stuff. And actually at the moment it's not too bad. I'm on my little swivel stool and I do appear to have some mobility. So that is always a good sign. Yes, so there you go. There is my basic life story. Let's move this out of the way because that is going to be in an unfortunate place. So, how's your week been? Let us know in the comments section below. No, that's what we say in videos. Let us know in the live chat. Oh dear. It is, yeah. It seems like I've not done a stream in an awful long time. In reality, it's kind of 2 weeks. And I have been trying to film videos in between. You'll probably notice that some of the videos which will be coming out, which we've tried to do this week, most of them are actually just kind of how-to videos in front of the computer screen, because it's been literally just very difficult for me to actually sit in a chair or anything. So I've tried to do things where I can. I don't want to leave you lot out there without content. And obviously we have got a buffer of videos, as most of you know, if you're Patreon or YouTube members, in which case you get videos a lot earlier. In fact, I think Patreons are, what, 3 weeks in advance at the moment? Is that right, Kath?
Sorry, say it again.
Patreons are about 3 weeks in front at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patreons are about 3 weeks in front. YouTube members, I think, is about a week, maybe 2 weeks, something like that. Anyway, so, yeah. Although we've got videos in the pipeline, I didn't want to get to a point where it was kind of like, oh, there's a gap in the content. So we've been trying to do stuff. It may not be the best of content, it may be very laborious and may not be very interesting to you, but I wanted to do something rather than just sit here moping and feeling particularly sorry for myself, which, to be fair, I had. This week had been actually very traumatic, along with the temperatures. A lot of the time, just really feeling like crap and basically not being able to do a great deal. Which, when it's hot and stuffy and you've got a really bad throat and you've got a really bad back, you're like, oh God. I know there's people out there who are far, far, far worse off than myself, and I feel for you immensely because it is not a nice thing. But hopefully on the road to recovery right now, and actually taking some seriously drastic medical steps in order to get my health back on track, which involves basically room temperature coffee, a hose pipe, and you can possibly guess the rest of it. Possibly we'll be doing a review on various coffee types as the days and weeks go forward. So I'm not sure whether it will be suitable for on our main channel, but maybe I might even open up a secondary channel for that kind of thing. Who knows? It might just be Patrons only. So if you find in your Patreon feed there's some unusual content, it's hopefully for my benefit, and hopefully you'll get some amusement out of it. I think you possibly will. Anyway, moving on. So, yeah, thanks for all of you joining us on this Saturday. I'm not sure what is actually on TV this weekend. Is there anything exciting on? I'm guessing there's going to be England women's football, which they appear to be doing particularly well, which is great stuff. Always nice for your country to be doing well at something, if it's generally not politics. But anyway, we probably shouldn't go down that route at the moment. So let's say hello to some of you in the chat. We'll get that out of the way first of all. Say hello, welcome you all to the channel. Obviously, if you've not been here before, then welcome first of all. Welcome to our humble little community. We are roughly about 75,000 strong at the moment in subscribers, and if you weren't aware already, we get we're just slightly shy of 700,000 views a month. So we're doing pretty well. There's quite a growing community, so if you're new here, welcome, and hopefully you'll stick around for the ride. It's a very unusual channel. Most of the people that have been here a long time will probably attest to that. I try not to be too gushing about products, and I am a naturally somewhat pessimistic individual, as some of you will already know. So I look for the worst in things. Where there is bad things, I point them out. Whereas most review channels, I think, generally tend to look at the more favourable or positive aspects. I find that to be something not disingenuous, because most people want to know the positives, but I feel personally that you need to know the negatives, or at least be aware of them, so you can make an informed buying choice, or make a choice based on balance rather than just, hype, which I'm not a big fan of. Anyway, with that said, yeah, if you're new here, thanks very much for joining us. Don't forget to smash the like button. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscription button and the chime button and all that kind of usual YouTube stuff. And you can also follow us on our Discord chat. There'll be links for that in the video description. I think Kath will probably put it into the comments now, so you can go ahead and look in there. Also, like I said, we've got Patrons, so you can join us on there, YouTube members. We've also got ShopSmart, which is on Facebook, so just look up ShopSmart UK, and that is full of kind of bargains and stuff that we get sent Not many at the moment because it appears China is closed once again, and Amazon warehouse deals and all that seems to be drying up a little bit. But if there's anything half decent, then we'll post it there. So for anyone who watches our daily videos and you watch these things, such as, a good example were these, the little keyboards, which I think the video went out on, was it Friday?
Yesterday, yeah.
Yesterday, yes. The video went out yesterday. So these were $9.99 for a keyboard and mouse set from, was it Havit? Yes, it is Havit. The KB611CM, little 60% keyboard and mouse, $9.99 was a special deal. We posted it in the Discord feed. We also posted it on the community tab. So for those of you that watched the video and were pissed off that you didn't get one, well, it's kind of your own fault. You need to be following us more closely. In which case then you can pick up bargains like that. And also the Antec cooling fan, which I think the video, not even sure if that's gone out yet. That was a fantastic deal, $9.99 for a 120mm tower cooler. Antec one with addressable RGB, which was, yeah, pretty awesome. Mine turned up damaged, so I have sent that one back, but yeah, it was a fantastic deal. So all that kind of stuff you'll see on our Facebook feed, you'll see it in our YouTube comments, and yeah, various different posts. So yeah, basically get subscribed. It doesn't cost anything to do so, as the same with Discord and all that kind of stuff. Right, let's do the say hellos. We will get into looking at this case. Tonight's stream is going to be predominantly focused on the Corsair 4000D Airflow. If you're not sure what case it is, we'll be going through, we'll be taking it out the box, going through what you get, the pros, the cons, take it all apart, strip it down. We'll also have a discussion about it, so if there's any questions you've got regarding that case, let us know in the comments section. Ideally, if you can preface or prefix even your question with a big capital Q, then hopefully I will notice them on the chat, which I can see here, or if not, just highlight me or Kath or even one of the moderators possibly and just say this is a question. I will get the tape measure out and the ruler and stuff, so if you're not sure if a radiator will fit in a certain position or how many fans go where or all that kind of stuff, even down to power supply lengths, all that kind of thing, then do ask the question. That is what this stream's all going to be about. It's a super popular case. Loads of people buy them. It's almost always in the top 1 or 2, 3 cases on Amazon. So they sell like they sell like shit through a goose, as someone that I know says quite frequently. And if you're watching this stream, you know who you are. Cap's looking at me like, it's the owner of scan.co.uk in the United Kingdom. Yeah, he's a crazy guy. He really is a crazy guy. And that is one of his kind of things. If something's popular, it sells like shit through a goose. Which apparently is the thing. At least it is now. Anyway, so who have we got with us? So I'm going to scroll back up and we've got live chat. Yeah, we have got live chat, so hopefully I won't be missing anybody out. Visionary says, I hope you're feeling better. That sharp pain, I definitely feel you. Yeah, it wasn't nice. I hate that when you get like a trapped nerve or something which is pinching in your back, especially the lower back, because it's my own fault, to be fair. My core is basically screwed. I don't do enough exercise. I sit in front of the computer answering all you guys' questions pretty much all day long. Yeah, I should make more time for my health and my well-being, but thank you, Visionary. Appreciate that. Got Mark Point, says, hey, Mike and Kath. Got Ugly Bob. A letter's with us from sunny Ohio. Alright, yeah, letter says, tell Mike to take 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in a glass of water, see if that doesn't help. I do actually have apple cider vinegar, and I do try and do that when I remember. It's actually a good tip, that is, actually. Yeah, very good. Dutch Jan says, yes, Mike, you are not 20 anymore, are you? No, nearly 20 stone, but not 20 years old. That would be... If you'd have seen me at 20, 21, I was in my prime. I actually had abs. Well, kind of almost abs. Let's not push things too far. Here's Poppy. So for those of you who haven't met Poppy before, there's Poppy. Say hello. Say hello to the people at home.
Popsy.
Oh, don't sit on the keyboard. That's just... Make yourself at home. You alright? She's been out catching flies and other things. She likes flies. Flies are her thing at the moment, aren't they? You like flies, don't you? He's going to have a sleep. Say hello to the ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Well done. You look at me like I'm some kind of idiot. There's thousands of people out there who think I'm an idiot already, so you're not on your own. It's fine. Right, Boy 4K says, I'm like 3 AM in Malaysia now. Couldn't catch some Zeds. I bet it's almost as muggied over there as what it is over here. Michael Thompson's with us. Mark Barry says, I have sympathy mic, did my back end a couple of months ago, couldn't do much at work. Back to normal now. Awesome, glad to hear it, Mark. Kath's answered a letter I can see. Michael Thompson says 5 AM Sunday here in Australia. 5 AM. Like in the morning AM. Wow. I need to really... Let me know in the comments. Type it in now, let us know. Let us know your country and what time it is currently. And I can get an idea of what time it is, because we do really need to take a look at the times that we do the streams. It's not always the ideal time that we do these streams. I'm fully aware of that, and the YouTube algorithm is fully aware of it and doesn't really promote the video because it's Saturday and Sunday. Oh, sorry, Friday evenings, Saturday evenings are basically no-go times for YouTube for videos. Sunday evenings I think is okay, but Friday evenings, Saturday evenings, traditionally most people obviously out and about doing things, getting drunk, etc, etc. So yeah, it's not a very good time for videos, but let us know what time it is in your neck of the woods.
And is anyone in Australia having problems accessing the
chat? That's the point, yeah. Anyone in Australia, are you having problems actually accessing the live chat? Clearly if you're replying, then you're not, because you're replying. But we do have a couple of members in Australia who don't have access to live chat for some reason. We've got no restrictions or anything, so it's open to anyone. You don't have to be a subscriber or a member or anything like that.
One's even bought a new phone.
I think the only thing that you do have to do is make sure you're either on the latest version of the YouTube app or the latest version of your browser if you're using a browser to access. Matthew Day says he's kneeling on the floor to fix a PC and regretting it. Oh yeah, it's never good, isn't it? You get down on your knees at our age and that is it. It's getting back up is an absolute palaver. Ugh, sorry, I can't grab my drink. I am going to have to drink some fluids because, like I said, my throat is playing up and I don't want to... Oh, is that going to be a bit hot? I'll burn my throat now as well. Sore and burnt. Nice. Not bad. Soothing, actually. Thank you, Kath. So, where did I get to? Welly Bob says, I spent today mainly thinking about the extra benefits of coffee. I'll be honest with you. I know it's not tech related, but yeah. Who'd have thought that using coffee in an exit would be so beneficial to your health? It's actually... Apart from my my obviously other things like sore throat and that, I do feel that my mental clarity and all that is much better. And yeah, I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, it's something I've been avoiding since, actually, ironically, since my 20s, when it became a bit of a thing over here to go to certain establishments and have certain amounts of coffee put into certain parts of your body, and I avoided it. We were going to do it, me and Kath, we were going to go to a place and do it together, and it's like...
Romantic.
Really didn't fancy the idea of that. It's not exactly date night, is it? But, yeah. Surprisingly, actually, yeah, I can...
Oh, you spotted me now, haven't you?
I can quite comfortably say, well, uncomfortably, I suppose you would say, it's actually something which I wouldn't say I enjoyed, but the benefits are definitely tangible.
I think that's what fixed your back, though.
Yeah, I did, actually. Visionary says, this is my first stream. I'm excited to be here. Awesome, Visionary. Well, we're excited to have you as well. Glad to see some new faces. Mark Point says, good to be here with the Mub community. Oh, yes. It's a great bunch of people. It really is. You get the occasional kind of person that comes in and starts spamming the chat and is unhelpful, let's say, in Discord or whatever. But generally, 99.9% of people are pretty darn good. Stuart Clear is with us, says evening all. Lucky Man says, how do you take your coffee, Mike? Well, no cream, no sugar, and preferably room temperature or slightly above.
And strained.
and strained, no coffee grains. Oh dear. Gosh, I'm actually making my eyes water thinking about that. Nick Barnes says, plain sun, hide in shade, swim, Hard
He's
week
on
so
holiday.
far. Glad you're on the mem, Mike. Thank you, Nick Barnes. He's on holiday. Good, good.
Enjoy.
Mark Point says, Mike, if you get any darker, I could consider you First Nations, lol. My tan's actually faded massively. It really has. It looks quite good on there. I think there's a bit of extra colour added to the camera. Dutch Jan says, nothing that can beat Dutch coffee. I will possibly try that one day. Welly Bob says, mild here today, mostly overcast and 25°C average temperature. Still warm now. Actually, our lovely benefactor, I think benefactor is that the right word? I suppose it would be. Ugly Bob sent us this little beauty. This is from Jaime. This is a hydrometer and temperature gauge thing. Works on Bluetooth as well, so you can actually go into your phone and have all sorts of things on it. But yeah, at the moment it is currently saying 25.3 degrees Celsius, and the humidity is a 66%, which is not ideal, if I'm completely honest with you. Anyway. Visionary says, who watches TV? Yeah, there's not a great deal on these days. Bruce Lee, Cooler Master 700 Evo build, thank you. I'm not sure what that is about, but anyway. Dory's with us, says hello all. Michael Thompson, I said that already I think. Mark Point. It says, I'm still waiting for the hot summer everyone said we were supposed to be having. Yeah, we've just literally had kind of 2 or 3 days where it was particularly warm. It's actually quite nice. I stayed inside most of it because my back was buggered and I couldn't really move a great deal anyway. So yeah, I went out, gingerly kind of went outside and tried to lie down on the grass. That was a sight in itself. In fact, I should get the recordings off the outside CCTV cameras so you can see me kind of trying to gradually go from a upright position to a led down one. Yeah, and Kath trying to get rid of Greenpeace because they were trying to spray water on me before I dried out and trying to get me back into the ocean. Literally was a beached well. Captain Meat says, all right, just wondering if you'll be doing some doing videos from Mike's sexy dungeon. Possibly not. Hopefully not. Ultimate Tech Hub says, cheers Mike and Kath from sunny and a very hot Las Vegas, Nevada. The difference being for you, Michael, is the fact that you have got a swimming pool in your backyard, as do quite a few Americans, whereas in the UK, if we have a swimming pool, you're generally a lottery winner and it's probably frozen over maybe 6 months of the year. So it's not ideal. I do envy you, Michael, I really do. Welly Bob says, gushing, that's appropriate, Mike. Like shit for a goose. Where are we? So Name 89, a lot of channels are favourably neutral to maintain their manufacturer relationships. We don't really have a great deal of manufacturer relationships, and the ones that we do have, I still say to them, so look, this is it. I'm going to say what I want to say. And quite often I don't actually tell them until after. And they still generally like the reviews. Thermal Take, we work quite closely with Thermal Take. IMU and Boya. Those are the three which kind of spring to mind. MSI used to be more so. Sahara Gaming. Who else is there? Probably a couple others that I've just completely forgotten. But GameMax, of course. Yeah, GameMax has been one of those companies. GameMax have been actually really good. We've had a few things from them to review recently, which most of them have been completely fine. One product I had a few issues with, which we had a conflab about, and we've worked it all out, and absolutely happy. So that will be coming out soon, so you'll be seeing about that. So yeah, even though they send stuff to us free of charge for review purposes, they don't pay us to say anything. We don't get told to say anything. And in fact, if they do suggest what to say, if it isn't 100% a valid point, it probably won't get omitted, and potentially I might even tell you guys about it and say, this company suggested that we mention this, but in my opinion, blah, blah, blah. So you get it straight and simple. I'm not going to be, I was just going to say, it's really hard telling lies, especially on camera, because you have to remember those lies, especially when you're a sizable channel and you're getting a lot of people commenting on a video and asking you questions. you don't want to have to be going back, watching the video again, say, what did I actually say in that video? So tell the truth, it's much, much easier. It's easy to remember the truth. Lies are really hard to remember, so don't do it. Don't do them, kids. Lies are bad. Where do we get to? So Marco's with us. Mike is back. Let the techno babble begin. Oh yes. You really should do some light exercise. People who sit do not have back muscles. I should know. Yes, I do feel that. I do feel that. Ugly Bob says bargain of the century. That have it set. It was bloody good. Where else are we getting? Dory's with us. Says hi. Captain Meat. Chris Hartford. I got one of those 999 Arctics. Very nice cooler. It was actually pretty. Excuse me. It was very good. Paul Lamont says hello. To Dutch Jan, but still. Jason Woods says better. Just got over the C word. Sorry to hear that. Kieran Atkinson. Oh dear, Kieran's done a meme. Congratulations as well, Kieran. Kieran got married this week, or civil partnership, or whatever you want to call it. Congrats, well done. I think it was this week, wasn't it? Oh yeah, it was on Monday or Tuesday, wasn't it? Yeah, the hot day, yeah. Stuart Cleary, cat got sick again on the new carpet. Oh dear. Kev2427 says evening. How you doing, Kev? Okay, so we're up to date. I think we've said hello to everybody. If I've missed anybody out, well, I do apologise, but I am only a human being. And oh, Dave Aitken. I saw someone say Dave Aitken. Yeah, Dave Aitken. How you doing, Dave? Good to see you. Oh, let's clear that off the screen. So I suppose really we has that cleared it? Yes, it has. I suppose really, being that we are supposed to be unboxing this case, we should get on with it. Now, I have actually got to move the cats off the box now. Literally, this case has been here for, well, since it was a Prime Day deal. Normally it retails for, well, at the moment it's $89.99. Now, I did actually go back and do a little bit of research. When the case was first released, which I believe was towards the tail end of October in 2020. So it's actually getting on to be almost a 2-year-old case now, which is like frightening in itself. But when it was released in the United States, the 4000D Airflow was actually $80 when it was released. So at the moment, for it to be £89 in the UK, Amazon.co.uk, then you can see immediately, well, dollars to pounds at the moment is kind of almost a 1-for-1. It's not a million miles off, I don't think. Actually, hey Siri, what is $1 to British pounds?
$1 is 83 pence.
83 pence. So I suppose there is still a margin in it. But yeah, so I'd imagine at the moment it's got to be $110, I guess, in the United States. Actually, if there's any of you from the States, Mike, Ultimate Tech Hub, I trust your input. Kath's got her hand up. Logan. Logan, I'll see what I can do. I will see what I can do. Yeah, anyone in the States, if you want to look up, see how much the Corsair 4000D in black is, I would appreciate that, and let us know. And I'm going to endeavour to try and get the cats off now. This is going to be fun. I'm trying not to destroy my spine. Come on, Flame. Let me get Babs. Oh, there you go. Maisie, come on, you got a gap as well. Ain't got time for that. Oh. Sorry, cats. Oh, they're just walking off as if to say, you bastard. You short, fat Bristolian bastard. So, anyway, you can see on that side, so that is the case box. Doesn't come in anything particularly elaborate. Don't think there's... Actually, I should check this for stickers to see if there's anything on there.
$95 on the US Amazon.
$95. That's actually a pretty decent price, isn't it?
$4.99 at
Okay, so... yeah, so this has got a glass side panel. You can get it in various versions. It does give you on the other side of the box a bit of a breakdown, so you can see exactly how it all comes apart and all that kind of stuff. And hello to Orale, and hello to Fisholas. Also hello Fisholas, whatever. Nicholas Barlow as well, thank you. Lucky Man as well. So I was lucky, picked this up, like I said, this was on an Amazon Day deal. I picked up for, I think it was £72. I think it was £72. I'll be honest, I was...
Put that off the edge in a minute.
I know. Oh, I've lost my knife now. I don't have a bloody knife. Oh, we use skizzers. I was looking at the 5000D. I did look at both. I think the 5000D would have been potentially the more flexible version. There are some downsides to this case in terms of...
Dying in a minute.
It's fine, it's fine. There are some downsides in terms of what you can actually fit in here. Not so much as in kind of deal breaking wise, but certainly if you're looking at putting radiators in here, there are some, I would say, less than optimal solutions for it. If you've actually got one of these cases and you personally do have a, actually that looks damaged already. Yeah, if you do have one of these and you have a radiator in there, let us know in the comments where it actually is. I would generally be interested to know. I'm guessing most people with this case are going to go with a 240 AIO and you're going to stick it in the top, which is fine. There is a reasonable amount of gap there, but depending on your motherboard and your VRMs, the motherboard height does come quite close to that top section. So 120mm or 140mm fans in the top are absolutely fine. And there is an offset as well, so when you are mounting a radiator, it does come out and bring it past where potentially your RAM could be. But if you're using something like a Arctic freezer, because they got extra thick radiators, potentially then you might struggle with RAM clearance or VRM clearance, or even just get into some of the sockets on the board. So that is something where the 5000D actually would be preferable than this, because you do have the additional height. Well, it's generally just a bigger case. So the 5000D for me, I think would have been the better choice in terms of flexibility. Although I'm a fine one to talk about flexibility of my knackered back. Let's try and get the rest of this out here without cutting myself to pieces. Like I said, this has been sat here since the day after Prime Day, literally because I couldn't get it out of the box. I wanted to some extent, and it was supposed to be, last week's stream was going to be about this case, but because of things going on and whatever, yeah, it just didn't work out. So now to get electrocuted, oh no, that's not too bad. So it comes pretty nicely packaged. This is going to be interesting to see if there is any damage on it, because like I said, this is completely fresh out the box. I've not touched it at all. Giving you that raw unboxing experience. So Lucky Man saying 240mm, rad mounted at the top, bit close for the RAM, Corsair RGB Pro. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to end up putting a 320 in the front, which if you do, it's going to be pipes up. So it will work and it's fine. A lot of people do mount their radiators pipes up, but it's not ideal as such. So where should we start with this? Tell you what, let's have a. There's a little bit of a filter thing going on the top. So let's go to the overhead, and hopefully we can get this into the shot. You can also see my cup of tea. So I wonder if I can get some focus on that. There we go. Okay, so on the top there is a piece of basically painter's tape or masking tape. Oh, oh, that's ruined that experience. Oh, what's going on there? I've done something really wrong with this, I think. Oh, I know what it is. Sorry, that's my fault entirely.
Okay, mates. Get back on now.
I have actually got. Look at this. This is the magic. This is how it all happens, you know.
Flamey, going back on.
So the reason you can still hear me is because the background is still there, but the other camera is just overlaid on the top and with it muted. The magic of OBS. There you go. So now you can see it a bit better. Sorry about that, I do apologise. It was set up because the camera is actually outputting 4K, but we're streaming in 1080p.
Hashtag blame Dave.
Hashtag blame Dave, clearly. So, anyway, so I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the accents. So Corsair, obviously, because they are a company which has yellow in their branding, as you can see from, let's grab a pack of fans a minute. So looking at their typical packaging, if you've ever bought anything from Corsair, it's basically going to look like this. So black and yellow is their kind of their shtick. Those will be going in the case actually. Those were sent to us by Ugly Bob. Bless you, Ugly Bob. So those were going in here. The whole point of this actually is I'm going to transfer my main rig into this case. That is the theory. So this, because I don't do testing in my main rig anymore, I can actually put a case in there which is just going to be done and dusted, and I'm going to live with it. So while we're in this section, let's take a look at the I/O. So there's not a great deal, to be fair. So you've got a rather kind of high pressure power button. So you've got to press that with a little bit of force to actually make it work, which is good because when the cats jump on, which inevitably they will, it's not going to be accidentally pulling it and turn it off when it's in the middle of a render. You've got a USB 3.0 port there, which is color-coded yellow. It was a Prime Day deal, yeah. So we've got a yellow port there, that's USB 3.0.
Build.
There's also a USB Type-C 3.2 Gen 1. And we've got a combo mic jack, which I'm not overly keen on, I'll be honest with you. I would have much rather seen that to be a split jack, because most of the headphones I use are traditional kind of mic and headphone jacks. And you've got a reset button, which is recessed and very small. So hopefully those will work. These buttons are generally known as going bad or locking in position. So you do your first build, and the first thing that happens, you go to turn the PC on, it turns itself on because the button thinks it's shorted. The PC comes on for about 4 or 5 seconds, then turns itself back off.
Can you just explain about the yellow USBs again?
The yellow USBs, they kind of, the whole thing is the yellow thing. So if you've got, like I said, if you've got anything from Corsair, which is yellow, then that is their kind of color coding. So what they've done is they've used accent colors. So normally that would have been a blue color for a USB 3. Same for the USB Type-C, which could be either, well, sometimes, I don't think actually they're colored that often. Quite often they're just black or possibly even red. But anyway, that is basically, it's an accent color which matches with the Corsair logo, which you can hopefully make out on there. So there's a little tab there for lifting it up. Something which is nice actually about this particular thing. Yes, Kath?
Mark Point wants you to tell them about the white car with the yellow accents that you talked about in the review for this case.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't that case, was it?
No, the car that the accent colours on this reminded me of the old Astra Club, I think it was. Astra GTE Club from like the early 80s. And it was Astra in white and it had a grey and a yellow accent on it. Yeah, that was, I don't know why I come up with that. Something they've done here, the mesh itself is actually quite nice. And if you look very carefully, the actual mesh pattern, rather than being traditional circles, is the same as this. So all the mesh sections are all these triangles, which is replicated on here. But something they've done which is really cool, if you look where the magnets are, they put the magnets in such a way that when you actually have fans installed, the screws which normally stick up, on a lot of cases where they don't think about it, actually the screws interfere with the magnets and push it up a little bit. So because you've got that section there, there's basically a cutout along there. So the screws are going to rest in there and in there. So you can put this down even when you've got fans or a radiator in the top here, and it's not going to make this look like awkward. It's going to stay perfectly flat, and it has been cut really well actually, and it does fit in there particularly well. So attention to detail, definitely, yeah, no problems with that at all. So yeah, that's all good. We should go round now, I suppose, to let's have a look at the front section. This Flame and Maisie have got their box back now.
Well, Maisie has.
So
Not me. Watch what you're doing.
yeah, there's Flame and Maisie back on the box. Oh, that's not good. There we go. Maisie's got her box back. Happy days. So there you go. That is the top of the case. Let's move my tea out of the way.
Flame didn't want to be on there. He got in front of me. Bit annoying, isn't it?
That was a hard swallow then. Oh.
Also, I think that was it. Actually.
Okay. Right, let's look at the front. So the front section is kind of what differentiates this between the 4000X and the other models. So as you can see, like the top, you've got this pattern, triangular pattern. I'm sure there must be a proper name, a scientific name for when you have like loads of triangles together. There must be a name for it, but I don't know what the name is. So yes, it is a geometric pattern. And what's the name for when you have a geometric pattern which is the same all the way through? There's definitely a name for it. I can't think what it is. Anyway, so this is all in black. Silver logo on the front rather than being yellow, which is kind of nice. I would have not liked it to see much more yellow really than what they've already done.
Trivial Pursuit things.
This panel comes out pretty easy, just pulls out. So there's little clips in the four corners. Don't think there's any in the middle. I could be wrong. No, I was correct. I have actually seen this case before. George, our son, has got one of these, and we did a build in it, which I, for some reason, I don't know what happened. Something happened to the footage, and it never actually made it out. So we will be doing a build in this at some point. So if you do want to see the build in this, usual deal, stay subscribed and that kind of stuff, and you'll see it when it comes out. The panel itself is all metal as well, which is always nice. The only downside being, obviously, if it gets dented or banged up, then these are relatively weak. So you do want to be careful where you put in this. There's little ball joints, and this section at the bottom, which rests on top of there, just to keep it all in place. So when you're putting it back on, come on, it's not easy to do from this angle. There we go. So it just pops back on. So that's pretty straightforward. I like that. And that gives you access inside then to the air filter, which is a full-length air filter with no plastic support brackets, which for some people is going to be a blessing, for some people it's going to be a real pain in the ass. Yes, Kath?
Tessellation of triangles.
Tessellation, thank you.
Also, what is the difference between the 4000D and the 4000X?
4000X has a solid front panel. So your airflow on the 4000X would be in these side sections, which are angled in. So we'll put this back on. Where are we? So the 4000X would basically be, all this would be flat. So you'd still have your airflow from the sides there, which, to be honest with you, is absolutely fine. There is going to be a very small difference in performance, depending on the nature of the fans you're using. If you're using a high static pressure fan, it'll make no difference whatsoever, because the static pressure will overcome the resistance on the sides. This is designed so kind of any fan at all, just pull air through very easily. Effectively, it is kind of mesh on mesh, but there's a sufficient distance between the front of this and the actual filter that it isn't that disruptive.
Things.
Cool.
Is it available in white?
Yes, it is available in white, definitely.
And the 4000X also comes with 3 RGB fans and a hub.
Correct, yeah, the 4000X, you can also get it with 3 RGB fans, and it comes with the Corsair node, not the Pro. This is the lighting node core, So back to this, the mesh, that's what I was going to say. So this mesh isn't supported with any plastic bracing. Generally you'd have one of these and have like a plastic cutout or a zigzag or something, because this is, as you can see, hopefully you can see anyway, it is moving. So if you've got a particularly high airflow case fans and they ramp up really quickly, it's going to pull this into the fan blades. There is a little bit of room there, but not a great deal. Now, if you don't want that to happen, you can just undo that and leave it out. Put your front panel back on and you're good to go. And that'll give you basically unrestricted airflow. It's going to let in a lot more dust, which is one of the problems I find with my PC. Although we have got a bit of a mesh on there, it's not quite as fine as this. These do actually do a really good job of picking up debris, especially if you're in a more humid area, because you get a little bit of humidity on the mesh. and that humidity then like dust sticks to it like coffee grounds to a blanket, let's say. Anyway, moving on. Yes, Kath?
The mesh filter doesn't fit in flush if your fans are too low, Fisher has said.
Right, okay, yeah, this is something which you do have to kind of bear in mind as well. This is going to restrict the options of what you can mount in the front here. So because of where the mesh is and the fans are behind this front section. And there's not really a great deal you can do about that. Even with, I think even if you put this on without that mesh, actually you might just be able to do that. I will try that when we go through and do the review on it. See if you can actually put the fans on the front with the mesh. Because that is going to limit you. If you're doing a 360 or 240 or 280mm radiator and you want to have the fans on the front, which I think probably most people will want, then yeah, that might be something to consider because there's not a huge amount of depth here. There is a plastic bit which pops out to give you a bit more depth behind. Again, depends what you're going to do. I personally probably wouldn't put a radiator in the front of this. I'm not a big fan of putting radiators up front in PC cases. I know it's better because that is kind of a really good source of cool air, whereas when you have them top mounted, generally they are passing through air which has already been heated up by the rest of the system. It swings and roundabouts. If you put a radiator in the front, generally because it's pushing the air through, which is then warmed, you're going to have slightly higher GPU temperatures. If you're having the CPU cooler on the top, your GPU in general is going to be slightly cooler because it's getting cooler fresh air from the front, but your CPU is going to be a little bit warmer because it's preheated air going through the radiator. It's kind of swings and roundabouts. Also, you can see the included fan. So they do include one fan at the front, one fan in the rear. That is something, obviously, if you do want a little bit more, then you can get a different version of this. I'm not sure if they actually do this, the 4000D airflow with RGB fans. I don't think they do. Possibly they might, but I've not seen one as of yet. Or at least I can't recall seeing one that was at a sensible price that made me think, I would like to buy that very much, please. Thank you very much. So anyway, that is the front section. If you want to remove this plastic bit for any reason, you can do. There are a couple of screws on the bottom, so two screws, and then you can kind of slot that out of place. It's really hard to get off, so unless you really need to take it off, I would suggest possibly leaving it where it is. Side panel wise, there is a tempered glass side panel. If you go for the black version, the darker panel is included. If you go with the white version of this case, then you get a completely transparent panel. I personally would have preferred to have seen a transparent panel on here, I think, or a lighter tint. It is actually quite a dark tint in comparison to a lot of modern PC cases these days. And that just pushes out from the back. It's actually quite a heavy panel. Doesn't have metal all the way around, so it only has metal on the front and the rear. So, yeah. And it kind of latches on in a weird way. So there are these kind of little lugs. So it kind of folds in and folds off, which normally in most cases you kind of undo the screws on the back here and you slide it backwards, but with this you don't, you kind of push it out and then off. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, there is quite a dark tint to that. If I pull the film back, you can see the film is basically making no difference at all really. It's still super dark. I'm not too sure how I feel about the dark side panel in terms of glass, because if you're making a particularly kind of nice looking system, maybe you don't really want it to be blacked out so much. On the plus side though, obviously if you're not very good at wiring, then it's going to hold, or hide rather, a multitude of sins. So, oh, it's getting lighter already, I like that. So taking a look inside, so we're probably going to need the other camera now, so let's turn the other light on as well. And we'll try and give you a better look inside here. And let's see, hopefully, yeah, there we go, that's not a bad view actually. So let's start at the bottom. So nice ventilation on the bottom again. Two screw holes there, and that is for mounting a vertical GPU, which goes into those slots there. I would advise against it. Those slots are way too close to the glass, so unless you're water cooling your graphics card as well, definitely something I would advise definitely something I would advise against. Yes, Kath?
I don't know what that is. David Eakins put watch out for those early batches sagged, but they swapped them out for free. They replaced mine for free recently, and it's much better. So I'm not sure because I wasn't in there.
Oh, that might have been the front panel.
All right.
Thank you, David. So yeah, mesh on the bottom there. Nice big cutouts for passing through your USB and also your front panel connections. Sorry if you're getting a bit seasick there. So yeah, those are really good. Nice little Corsair logo, and also again we've got the the little tiny section there with a little bit of yellow on, just to tie it all together for their design. The fans that are included, for those of you that are wondering, are basically kind of disposable. They're 3-pin fans, DC, rather than being PWM. So for some people that might be absolutely fine. I kind of don't really mind too much. As long as you've got a motherboard which doesn't get pissed off using them, it's going to be absolutely fine. I'm pretty sure this bit here moves. I think there's a screw on the back, so you can slide this section forward and back. So if you've got an extended ATX case, if you've got an extended ATX motherboard, then you can slide this further forward to give you that extra room for wiring and the motherboard itself. Obviously it's going to be, ATX is going to be the standard for this. Micro ATX will fit in an ITX. Most of the pins, if not all of them, I think, are already pre-installed. So let's turn that on. Actually, that light's on, but I didn't turn it around. There we go. Hopefully that's a little bit lighter. So yeah, all the pins are pre-installed. The middle one has actually got a little pogo pin, so for centralizing your motherboard. I like that. That's a really handy thing to do. The amount of times I've tried to put a motherboard in, it's been slightly squiff, and then you find your graphics card doesn't line up, or your I/O shield doesn't line up, all those kinds of things. So yeah, pretty decent. There is a little plastic pop out here, so that comes out, just a little plastic panel there. So then you can put a radiator in here, 360mm, push this back a little bit, have your radiator and your fans in there without taking up too much room. So that's good. I think that just pops back in. Yep. Oh, that's stuck on something. Why am I struggling with that? Oh, I see. So there are two little teeth on that side which go under. There we go, that locks into place. Awesome stuff. So yeah, like I said, the fans are pretty much pointless. I am going to be replacing these with the SP120 RGBs Pro. I think those are actually voltage DC as well. For some reason I seem to think that. I don't think they're PWM. So yeah, I'm not really gaining a great deal there, but they will look a lot nicer. Other things of note, I suppose, really is going to be in the top here. So let me see if I can give you a better shot of that. If I angle it up. There we go. So yeah, of your cutouts and pass-throughs, there's some quite nice size to them. They've got a bit of depth to them, so passing cables through isn't going to be the end of the world. But if you look at how much gap you've got between your motherboard, so your motherboard is going to terminate kind of here, if you can see what I'm doing there. So your motherboard is going to be about there, or essentially level with this section. So that only leaves you basically about 20 millimeters. You can just about read that. So about 20 mil between the top of the case and the motherboard. So clearly a radiator is normally about 25 mil, I think it is. And what's a fan these days? About the same, isn't it? It's about 15, 20, something like that, 25, I can't remember. Actually, they must be about 20, yeah, about 25 mil for a fan. So even top mounted fans could potentially interfere with RAM or stuff going on, depending on what you've got set up. So mounting a radiator and fans in the top, if you do that before you get your motherboard and your wiring through, you're going to really struggle to get your EPS connector in this top corner. So my suggestion would be, if you do a build in this, to run your electric cables through first of all, before you get doing too much. Otherwise you'll just end up undoing your radiator, pulling it out and starting over.
Funky Badger asks, on the topic of Corsair, are their products worth the premium price?
Are Corsair products worth their premium price? Now that is
I love that name, Funky Badger.
that is a kind of a good question actually. Just move that out of the way a minute. So are Corsair products worth the premium price? Arguably, it depends what it is you want from your case or your products. Most of Corsair's stuff, I would say, is built pretty well. There's a few exceptions to the rule. The what's the mouse I've got? Is it
M90 or
M65 or M55 or M360 or something like that? It's horrible. Every now and then the USB fails to recognise, so I have to turn the PC off, turn it back on again, and it creaks. Just gripping the mouse, the plastic creaks. I've not taken it apart or done anything to it. It literally is just not particularly well made. It is a cheap mouse, so you do have to bear that in mind. When it comes to a case, at the moment it's really hard to kind of say 100% this is expensive or this is cheap or whatever. Because shipping costs are so expensive at the moment, depending where your cases are being distributed from or shipped from, all that kind of stuff, potentially a lot of the cost, or at least a big portion of that cost, is going to be swallowed up just by transportation fees. Now obviously if the main distributor has to pay for a shipping container, they pay extra, so then they sell it onto a distributor, the distributor has to pay extra, the distributor sends it to the retailer pays extra, and ultimately you're the one who pays it as the customer, because the costs are always kicked down the line. Almost entirely always, that is like a general rule of thumb. Now there are going to be some retailers and distributors out there that are going to look at a case or a product and say, we can't sell that for that price. In which case they look at it and think, right, okay, what can we lose on the margins on this? And sometimes they'll reduce the price. I feel at the moment a lot of companies in the computing space are already trimming the margins down to try and absorb some of that shipping cost, just in order to maintain that competitive edge. Certainly the margins in the computing industry as such aren't great. So if you're planning on making money on just buying and selling components, it's extremely hard to do. Extremely hard. Even if you get really good bargains, unless you've got a company brand or you don't mind kind of taking the piss a little bit with your pricing and just adding a bit on here and there. I find personally, just like, I get good deals pretty much most of the time, and I shop around. That is basically what I do. I shop around looking for deals, getting bargains, and even doing that and putting together a system, and even then trying to sell it at cost price on Facebook Marketplace, I still get people knocking me down, which is inevitable, it's going to happen, but people don't want to pay the prices. So I guess because I'm not like a boutique PC seller, where you've got that kind of retail bricks and mortar thing going on, God knows how they make any money. I really don't know, because people don't want to spend the money. It is a very hard thing to do. And most PCs now, if you go onto PC Part Picker, it's kind of like, wow, the margins are extremely slim.
Can you just do Just Fly as well?
Yeah. To finish off that question, is Corsair stuff worth the premium? Arguably, I'd say yes. I say it hesitantly, because I don't personally believe that you should pay a premium for a product that isn't justified or doesn't have a tangible thing. The thing which stands out for Corsair, I would say, in respect to quite a lot of their products, is the warranty. You do get a good warranty on their stuff, and they are very good in terms of returns. Memory, obviously, is lifetime warranty pretty much across the board, so that isn't specifically a new thing, but it's something which Corsair kind of almost pioneered in the industry. Apart from Kingston, I think we're about the only other company doing it at the time. So they've done that. Most of the products have got a 2-year or 3-year warranty, rather than the traditional 12-month, which most places have. Oh yeah, their kind of RMA process is pretty good, and very much like Logitech. If you get any problems, it's very easy to sort it out very quickly, and generally they'll just say, right, we'll send you a new product, which happens quite frequently. So whether it's worth it, the construction quality, definitely. If you put this against something like a similar price category product, such as Lianli 215, GameMax F15, Fantex P400A, all similar sort of prices, all kind of similar cases, I personally would argue that the build quality of this would be the better of those in general. The whole thing ties together much nicer, and also it's part of an ecosystem, so that is something you also need to look at. If you're buying into an ecosystem much like Apple, because everything is designed to work with each other and they kind of fit well, you do pay a premium for that, because it's not just a kind of one size fits all. Although if you don't want to buy into the ecosystem, you don't have to, because you can just put in basically any fans you want in here, any motherboard you want, any cooler you want, obviously as long as it fits. So you're not tied into it. But if you do want to kind of have a themed build, all Corsair, or you want to kind of tie in with other things, then you can do. It's a quality case, there's no doubt about it, and all the metal, nice thick metal. Something you notice straight away is where the fan mountings are. Normally on kind of other cases, even some of the more expensive ones, the fan sections, this metal is very thin and flexible, whereas this actually, surprisingly, is actually quite good. Better than what I was expecting for the money. Again, depends on how much you're paying for it. Kath said there's another question I had to look at, which was...
That question is a statement, just fly.
Just fly. Can I see that from here? I don't think I can.
40 radiator fits okay, 280 you need low profile RAM.
Yeah, radiator wise, 240mm in the top is fine. I know that for a fact because our son's PC upstairs, he's got the Corsair H100i Capellix in his PC, which I installed it, so I know they physically fit. It wasn't the easiest things to do, and again, I did have the kind of, well, should have run the power cables through first. I ended up taking out all 8 screws from the radiator, dropping the radiator, plugging it back in, putting the rad back in. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen more clearance on the top. That is something which I would have liked to have seen. They have kind of billed it as being a mid-tower case, which it definitely is. The benefits over the 5000D with the extra height, the extra depth, extra money, kind of, yeah. I'm still umming and ahhing whether or not to keep this or send it back and get the 5000. I'm kind of on the fence a little bit. I'm kind of thinking now I should have bought both on Prime Day and sent one back. But anyway, such is life. So that is the insides. Is there any other questions about the insides? I suppose I should say, for kind of clarity, you can, if you want to, you can mount some SSDs on this front section should you wish to. All of the back panel section, actually, well, might as well turn it around. All of the back panel is really nicely done. Again, we've got that same geometric pattern, even down to the PCI Express blanking plates. All of it's nicely color coded, all of it's nicely clearly painted. There's no kind of spots on here where there could be kind of paint missing, so it's all been finished really nicely. All of the PCI Express blanking plates are removable, including the ones which are on the upright section there. So yeah, that's something which is quite nice. And even things like the adjuster or the riser is all done very nicely, so no complaints or issues there. Only an option for a 120mm fan on the back, which I'm not kind of upset about really. It is what it is, and it's fully functional, does what it needs to do, but would have been nice to have the option for a 140 on there, I think, personally. Yeah, let me know what you think. Clearly that fan is going to have to go because no RGB. We're not doing that. Ventilation wise for the fan, so you've got a removable thing. Going back to what we said about the front fan, or sorry, front mesh, normally you'd have something like this, like a bracing on there to keep the mesh taut and stop it flapping around. So this is, yeah, that is a little bit on the loose side. There isn't really a great deal you can do about it either. So it's either it looks nice or it works well. Generally you can't do both at the same time. So yeah, oh, that doesn't fit. I'm doing that from the wrong angle. What is the point of, oh, tell you what, if I put it out the right way, that would be much easier. So that fits in. A little bit loose in there. You might need to just pull it back a little bit to lock it in, rather than push it in, because that is potential. You can hear it echoing through there. Obviously you're not going to get that echo in when you've got a PC in there, but anyway, you get no idea. So let's take a look at the bottom, said the doctor. So on the bottom, so this is where you've got your removable drive case, so you can move that forward and backwards. The feet raise the case up off the ground by, where's my ruler? We're looking at about about 30 millimeters actually, I'd say. So for those of you in inches land, that is about just slightly short of 1¼ inches rising up off the deck. And see the filter, we've seen that already, so yeah, not very exciting. You do have foam feet on. They foam, they rubber. They're rubber feet, so, but they seem to be decent rubber because they're not marking the desk, which normally happens. So yeah, they're using actually a decent rubber compound rather than some cheap tat. Always nice to see. So let's take a look at the back panel.
Is that where you put the coffee?
This is where you put the coffee, yeah. On this, again, because it is Corsair and they've got their fetish for their company colours, you've got a little yellow accent. I'm not sure if you can actually even see that from there. There's a very small yellow accent actually on the thumb screw, which some people would see as an attention to detail thing. It's kind of nice, and it does give you that kind of overall impression that they've actually taken a little bit of care and attention over this whole design. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. I genuinely am. Again, with this, because you unscrew these, you don't just pull the case off backwards. It literally won't come off. So there are little push tabs, and there is very small arrows on there. So little push tabs, and if you grip the top there and push, there you go. It just pushes out. So it kind of swivels out. It's not the most elegant of designs, to be completely honest with you. But the reason they do it is because if you do get a ton of cables in there, it makes it easier. So if we look at the front, got those 4 little bits, so they match up on those 4 bits there. So when you're putting the side panel back on, you do it like this. So you lock that in first of all, so lock in those 4 bits, and then you kind of slam the suitcase shut. And after a while, a couple of times of doing it, that'll loosen up a bit and it'll be a bit easier to do. But that is designed so that you can squish your cables in.
Listening to you.
It was Poppy.
Yeah.
Oh, Poppy, you listening? Or are you just distracted by the case opening and closing? So yeah, when you get your case, if you buy one of these, don't try and pull the case off backwards because it basically doesn't work. Also nice to see as well, there's little pinhole things again, which latch into there and there, so that just kind of holds it in place while you're doing the screws up. Not entirely necessary, but it's one of those nice little things again. Attention to detail, you wouldn't get that on pretty much any other case. Normally you'd end up doing the whole suitcase thing. So, in the back section, so to speak, so clearly cable management is a key thing in their minds. I personally don't really care too much for it one way or the other. I'm interested to see how that panel slides though. And if it does, I think it's just, was it 1 screw at the top possibly? Yeah, that might be just 1 screw. Let me get a screwdriver. If we undo this screw here, do I need to take it all the way out, or yeah, maybe I do, I don't know. I've never actually moved the cable mounting bracket, so and there must be, oh yeah, I see. So there's 2 positions, so there's 2 screws just in that top corner. So depending, you can move it forward about 1 inch. So there must be another screw a little bit lower down, which at the moment appears to be eluding me. I'm sure there is one. I'm sure that must move. I can't see it though.
Do you want your glasses?
I don't think I need glasses. I can see that there's a little channel that moves or slides in. So I don't know whether I just need to be a little bit more aggressive, or whether or not, is there a screw on the inside? Maybe. Can't see anything. But I'm pretty sure that does move, or at least comes, oh there we go. So yeah, you pull the whole thing out. I should have done that from the other side actually, that would have made more sense. So you can remove that cable tray in its entirety. To show you what that looks like. So you can take that out, and there's a little slot there and there. And I guess there must be one a little bit further forward. Does it actually move, or does it just... Because there's 2... Oh yeah, you can move it slightly forward. So you put it towards the front. Watching out for the cables. There you go. So yeah, that is in the furthest forward position. Then you can push it up, pull it out, move it back very slightly. yeah, it's not very easy to do it on this angle and trying to show you at the same time. So there we go. So yeah, not the most elegant of solutions, but it does move a little bit should you want to. It's literally only about, what's that? Couple of centimeters, sorry, a couple of millimeters at best. But it might be the difference between you being able to get your cables around for your ATX motherboards, which potentially I might be using an eATX board in here for my sins. So that is my other dilemma. That was very Bristolian.
Does it remove so the case can take an eATX?
Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah, so that panel removes and you move it to the very front, and then ATX is supported, and with it in its default position, it's up to ATX. And that doesn't look like it's actually gone back in the right place. Ah, there we go. Oh, no. I think I must have bent it. Like I said about their build quality. Anyway, right, let's have a look at this cable management. So Velcro included already, a little bit of ASMR. So undo those, put the cables in, do whatever you want. I'm not sure if I'm particularly kind of happy about that, really. It's fine, it seems to do what it's meant to do, but the actual channel itself that the cables are going into isn't particularly deep. So as you can see, some of those cables are kind of falling out already. So because you've got that angle of the swoop of those cables, I think realistically it would have made more sense to have actually had a channel going down here straight away, being that you've got your cable run coming out of there, go straight down there, and then you can go along to wherever you need to without getting in the way. And also, because of where this is, your power supply is going to be limited, so you're going to have to kind of go under, somehow piggyback these existing wires up into that channel to then get into your motherboard, which, yeah, not ideal, but I guess it's better than nothing. But it does make you think how much time and effort or money is tied up in that cable management system. Literally, yeah, literally tied up in it, which could have been spent elsewhere. I don't know. That is something which I would definitely consider. I appreciate cable management when it's available, when it makes sense and it works well. But I don't think it works particularly well. It looks nice there, it looks nice and clean. But by the time you put in a couple of RGB fans, your power supply, you route things through to your graphics card, etc., etc., which are going to kind of come through here possibly. That is something actually I noticed on the bottom. It would have been nice on the bottom to save some of that other cable management kerfuffle, is to have a cutout on this bottom section to run a cable through for your graphics card. Although with modern NVIDIA cards being the power connectors somewhere in stupid here, then yeah, I suppose that may not always look as good. But yeah, something to think about. So on the back, you've got another 2 screws with yellow bits on. So custom screws there, so if they ever get damaged or you lose them, you're screwed. Those fit in quite nicely. That is something they've done quite well actually in this design. If I'm being completely honest, I do quite like the way they've done that. Yes, what was the question? Nick Barnes. Pardon my lack of knowledge, but what is an eATX motherboard used for? eATX is just a larger format, so it's a wider board. Traditionally, eATX would have been for kind of server motherboards. So an eATX board is physically bigger, so you can fit on more things. So whether it was inductors, RAM slots, trying to think what else. Just physical connectors basically, so more chips. Back in the day, obviously, things like North Bridges, South Bridge chips, all that kind of thing, USB controllers, network controllers, they were all built on a larger scale. So physically they were bigger, even though they did the same thing, but the technology hadn't been miniaturized. So motherboards had to really kind of think about where they could lay things out. And certainly things like the tracks between the processor and the RAM, or the controllers and the RAM, all of that was a lot bigger and more kind of, it just basically took up more real estate. Whereas now most motherboards have kind of got it either individual layers. So the PCB comes in various layers of PCB, so you put the tracks on individual layers of the board, whereas previously you'd have had the tracks would have to be separated physically, so you had to have larger motherboards for higher end equipment. So extended ATX or eATX generally would have come from either like a high-end board or a server board, that sort of thing. Not that common these days, to be honest with you. So yeah, reasonable amount of depth there. So for cable management wise, you're looking at roughly about an inch there. So about 25 millimeters roughly. 25, 26 millimeters, which is generally going to be fine. Two sleds there for putting in 2.5 inch drives. I was extending those as well.
They can be fit on the front.
Yeah, those actually do fit on the front as well. So if you don't use the upright or vertical GPU mount, actually let me show you that now, because there's bound to be someone who wants to work out how that goes, and I can refer them to the video. So you take those two off of there, and you can see there's two slots, one there, and two slots there, one there. Sorry, I couldn't quite see because the fan's in the way. And you've got that screw thread at the bottom, so you can put your drives in there. These sleds you can actually buy separately from Corsair. They do sell them. So if you are planning on putting in, oh, that one's absolutely threaded, I think. So that's handy. It does fit in, but it's not secure. Going back to the build quality thing. I can't see, there it is. Ah, there we are. So there we go. That one's right, that one's threaded okay. So yeah, if you want to, you can mount two drives on there. Quite handy as well that you've got that nice thick section there for getting your cables through, so for putting your SATA plugs through and also your SATA data cables. So yeah, you can put your drives in there should you wish to. That's kind of nice. Not something which happens that often these days. I guess if you went for, if you're doing like a Corsair kind of themed-ish build, maybe you could put in something like, put an ASUS motherboard in there, get some tough branded SSDs with RGB built in, and then you can have those lit up on the front, and you can get, because ASUS is one of the few motherboard brands which actually does tie in relatively well with Corsair's iTunes software and their whole ecosystem. So if you do want to get Corsair ecosystem and you want it to match the rest of your system and tie in nicely with iQ, potentially you can use Signal RGB, which is kind of a little bit hit and miss. Generally works on a lot of things, but not everything. But if you go down the ASUS route, combination between Armoury Crate and iQ, there's kind of plugins, very much like there is with Razer when you're with MSI, that sort of stuff. I kind of don't always like those types of plugins and kind of pass-throughs and stuff. They're a little bit messy. I think in terms of ecosystem, I think MSI probably is the best one. But yeah, if you're going down the iQ route, it does offer up lots of opportunities. David Aitken says, they now sell a dedicated sled that houses a Commander Core XT that sits at the back behind the GPU mounting plate. Ah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, that is a good idea. Pretty good place to put it, I guess, as well. When it comes to connectivity for the front panel connections, obviously there's not a huge amount of USBs on there, or anything for that matter. So you've got a power LED, which is built into the power switch itself. We've also got a reset switch, as we said earlier, and also there is the power switch itself. So only 3 connections for the front panel connection. In terms of buttons, there's your HD audio lead, which yeah, plenty long enough to get to the motherboard. There's also USB Type-C and also the USB 3.0. Only a single cable needed there, so it's going to be a little bit easier to cable manage. The motherboard that I'm possibly going to be putting in here is the ASUS TUF. Where is it? There we go. Not TUF, sorry. The Prime Z690-P Wi-Fi D4. Potentially, I might use this in there. Reason being is I want to probably go Intel for my video editing rig, so I may do that. Alternately, I'll put in here the what was it? I think now the X570 TUF gaming motherboard, Although that doesn't have a USB Type-C connection, so that kind of leaves me a little bit bummed out for that connection. Not the end of the world, but it would have been nice to have used that, but we'll see what we see. I'm in and about ditching MSI for my main rig and going with ASUS, being that it does tie in with Corsair's ecosystem. I don't know. Decisions. Which is why another reason why I haven't opened it, because I know as soon as I open the box I'm going to want to do something with it. So when it comes to caddies, you've got another 2 drive caddies there, so you can put in there 3.5-inch drives, or you can, if you want to, you can put in a 2.5-inch drive, so there is mounting holes for those in there as well also. So let's chuck that back in there. It is getting rather muggy here today. We're supposed to be having thunderstorms yesterday and today, but it hasn't happened as of yet, which I'm actually pleased to say. But it is, we could do a bit of a thunderstorm to clear the air a little. So this is our accessories bag. So there are another 3 cable straps. So you can use those on this bit here and here for tying up your main ATX power connectors and all that kind of stuff. Clearly you get all the screws and bits and bobs and a bunch of cable ties. Nothing to write home about there. There's a couple of extra mounting pillars for motherboards, which I suppose you could possibly move them around a little bit, but not entirely sure where you would. But anyway, that is the drive cage caddy. You can take the drive cage out. That is on thumb screws, which more than likely are going to be way too tight, although they are captive. So that makes that a little bit easier to pull out, I think. Or does it? There's screws on that side as well? No. Oh, there we go. Didn't undo that fully. So if you want to, you can take out the whole cage. It's on 2 captive thumb screws. So that actually could make things a little bit easier. If you've got a power supply in there, that one there is going to be virtually impossible to get to. And it locks into the floor on those 4 bits there. So there's 3 positions, right at the front, middle, and right at the back. So if you're using a AIO 360 in there, you put it right to the back. Obviously that's going to limit what power supply you can put in. Chances are I think I'm going to have it probably right to the front. Right at the front. It's very hard to do that whilst actually not looking at it face on, or without some sort of view. Let's have a look. Is that the furthest forward? Yes, it is. Sorry, there's 2 positions. That's my mistake there. I saw 6 positions and I assumed that that would be 3 movements, but it's not, it's 4. I can't get the screws back in now. Oh, come on, you bastard. I think this case hates me already. And someone's pinging me on Discord. Ah, there we go. So yeah, a little bit fiddly with that. I guess these days, kind of hard drives may be coming to a bit of an end. So you might not need to have that in there at all. You could quite easily take all that out and forget it was in there. Let's pack those away. I think that is all we need in there. Pack it away nicely just in case I do send it back to Amazon, which I am still contemplating, I'll be honest. I kind of like the case. I think it's quite overhyped, if I'm truly honest about it. Yes, it's a nice case, it's got some nice design elements, it's built very nicely. Just noticing now actually, some little things like the fact there's punch outs along the bottom there. So if you're running your cables along the bottom, you can tie them down nicely. That's something you don't often see on kind of any cases really. So that is actually quite nice in terms of cable management if you want to do a super tidy job. The fact that it comes with 2 crap fans is a little bit of a kind of like, really? It almost makes me wonder as if they watch Gamers Nexus and they realise that if they don't put any fans at all, it's going to score very badly when they do their kind of default testing. It kind of does make me wonder if that is the whole reason why those crappy fans are in there. they're fine. They'll get the job done. They will move some air. Clearly not a huge amount, but they will move some air. So where's the back panel? See if I can get this on easily. So remembering to line up at the front first of all, and then Bosch into place. I do quite like that actually. It's quite a nice mechanism. Although when I first did George's case, it did catch me out. It's like, what the bloody hell is this thing not opening? It's broken. Why do I have to watch a YouTube video just to find out how to take the bloody side panel off? I didn't in the end. I worked it out for myself. Is that around the right way? Yep. So get this all back together. That's magnetic. That's nice. That is quite practical actually. I'm not too sure about this mesh thing. I know that on George's case, the mesh appears to have kind of aged a little bit, but rather than sagging as you'd expect it to, it's actually tightened up. So it's actually made it better. But that's probably because it gets covered in vape juice. Oh. Does that rest on top or not? Yes, it does. Yeah, I don't like this front panel. I don't want to. There's not like an obvious. There it is. Me being stupid. When you do this on an odd angle, it isn't very easy to do. So there we go. Let's put the side panel back on. Remembering to line it up at the front first of all. So push it in and then hinge it round. They should have put hinges on it. That would have made it a lot easier. Because when you're putting kind of torsion stress onto glass, depending on the temperature, if you're in a particularly cold environment, the ambient temperature being a little bit on the cool side, then that is, yeah, potentially a recipe for disaster. Just pushing it around and getting it to lock in, that could actually, well, could easily quite shatter. Could easily quite shatter? That made no sense at all. Right, so there we go. That is the case. I'll put it to one side for now. And if there's any questions about it, now is a very bloody good time to ask them. Actually, I should have put the fans in while I was at it. I was going to put the other fans in, but I'll save that for the review. Whew. Right, let's have a look, see what questions we've got, if there are any. Where is... Stupidly, I forgot to put the mouse mat back on it. Arali says, it looks like thunder weather down south for me. Yes. William Bodie says, is Mike leaving anything for a review on this case? It's going to be one of those things, because it is one of those cases which is extremely popular. It will come up in the search algorithm, and hopefully the video will be there, so people will watch the longer format version of it. And hopefully they'll get the information they need. I will do a much more condensed version, obviously, for the general purpose review and the kind of building it with my experiences. But this was designed primarily just to give people a very, very detailed, step-by-step look at the case and my thoughts on it. And I suppose actually I probably should say what my thoughts are on it, because I'm still undecided, I'll be honest with you. I know there's a lot of people out there who are probably like, oh, but it's a 4000D Corsair, it's amazing, it's the case I've always wanted. And I suppose in some respects I'm very lucky, or in a somewhat privileged position, that I got access to more cases, and I can use other cases, and I have used other cases. And I think when you've used other cases and built in other cases, you do become a lot more choosy or finicky about what you actually build in. Personally, I still think that the GameWax F15 and the Lian Li 215 are pretty much the kind of the pinnacle of PC design in terms of price and performance. I don't think it's going to be very easy to better either of those designs. And I got to be honest with you, I'm actually tempted to go and buy another Lian Li 215, purely because of the fact that it is actually a really good case. And if you can pick one up cheap enough, it's worth doing. So, yes, not sure. Right, I'm going to slurp some tea. And actually, the one downside of actually drinking too much tea is you generally have to go and pee. So I'm going to hit the advert button now. Stay with me, I will be back. But it says here, now would be a good time to insert ads. I've done that already. So I'm going to click it. If you get an ad now, I do apologise, but I need to piss. I genuinely do. So I will do that now. And hopefully Kath won't say anything embarrassing about me whilst I've gone to the bog house. Oh, there's a super chat coming from Raleigh. I'll put your microphone back up. There's this £10 super chat and says, towards your next Leanne Lee 215. Thank you very much, Sir O'Reilly. I will be back momentarily. Is that another super chat? Another super chat. I should go for a wee more often, I think. It's very good for the bank balance. Cough it up, son.
You should have put it on the cat.
On the cat. Cat cam. Yeah, but they're not doing anything.
More than you.
They never do anything. Lazy. Thank you very much, Bob. Oh, sorry. Choke. So O'Reilly, £10 super chat. Thank you very much. Towards your next Leanne Lee 215. I would consider having another one again. There's Ugly Bob. Here's 10 quid for not activating piss cam. Mate, if I knew there was money in it, I'd do it. There probably is money in it, to be fair. Stuart Cleary says at least the skip ad option is available. Yes, I think it is, actually. Ugly Bob, remember to turn the mic off. Yeah, remember to take it off rather than turn it off. Otherwise, I'll walk out halfway out of the room and yank the camera out of the way. Chris Hartford says metallic gear by Fantex cases go under the radar. Never had a more solid case. I've actually looked into metallic gear a couple of times. For some reason, I don't know why it is.
One as well, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I will look at that shortly. Whenever I've looked at those metallic gear cases, they've always been prohibitively expensive, or at least in comparison. Where is the other one? I can't see that now. Or we're not scrolled down far enough. Oh, there we go. Rick H. Rick H, $20. Says towards your next Leanne Lee case. Thank you very much. There's something weird about the irony of me doing a video, an entire stream in fact, on a Corsair 4000D case, and basically you lot give me contributions to buy a Leanne Lee 215, which I've already reviewed. I have actually looked at the Leanne Lee 215, which is its its successor, that's the word I was looking for, which doesn't have the 200mm fans, it only has 160mm fans, which is a very unusual size. But they call it the Landcool 216 rather than just being the Leanne Lee 215. So yeah, that's an unusual one. David Aikens says, Kath, we can see you picking your nose in the glass. She's not picking her nose actually, she is, because of how she is sat. She is sat with her phone like that.
But I'm eating biscuits.
Oh, you're eating biscuits as well. No, she's eating biscuits, god damn it. I'm working here. And you're eating biscuits.
Time to eat much.
Sweet baby Jeebus. Did Mike wash his hands? That's a good point. Pass over the IPA, Kath. Actually, don't bother because you're busy eating biscuits.
Silly. That's chemicals.
It's cleaning. It's alcohol.
Yeah, but it's not good for your body.
All right, I won't stick it in my body. I did actually say to somebody yesterday on the Discord, never put anything on your body that you wouldn't be prepared to put in your mouth. And I'm kind of standing by that. Another super chat from Stuart Cleary. Says towards after sun cream. I've literally not been in the sun hardly at all, have I, this week? I've literally... how long have I spent? I could probably... maybe 2 hours, if that, in the sun throughout the period of the week.
We don't use coconut oil anyway.
William Bodie. William Bodie, yes. I do like the mouse mat. I had it rolled up over here. Because I was doing other stuff on the table and I didn't want to get it dirty. Thank you for reminding me of that. It is ready and waiting. There we go, that's better. Actually, and it covers up all the divots in the desk. I was contemplating changing out the desk. There's lots of things we're doing actually at the moment, which I'm not entirely sure what I should do. I want to replace this desk for a start, because it's had 2 years, it's knackered now, because I've not treated it very well. So I'm tempted to just go with a wooden desk. So when I do knacker it, I can just sand it or fill it. But that's going to be expensive. I don't kind of want to do that, but I use it every day, so I probably should do. David Aiken says, towards the Lian Li Lancourt 3, you'll need more. Oh God, yeah. I do, I have seen the Lancourt 3, that does look nice actually. I'm sure I've missed out some comments somewhere along the line. Michael Thompson says, ad blocker, sweet. Oh. David says, I only use the 220T Corsair case for 4 months on my main PC, or replace it with the Lian Li 011 Dynamic Evo, which I love. I do like the Lian Li Dynamic, but I feel that it's far too close to the Techwear VXR. I have to remember the name then. So I do kind of want something a little bit different. Looking for a case is always a hard one.
Whopper, can you do the other webcam
Which one?
to show the mouse mat?
All right. Overhead. There we go.
For Whopper.
There we go. Whopper. There he is, the old Mando. Pew pew. Sorry, that's enough of that. Sorry. I'm a kid. I really am. So what else have we got that I haven't said? Jose says, more than a year with this cabinet and I still like it. I do like it. I do like the 4000D. There are elements of it which I do like a lot. I'm still thinking I should have got the 5000. I think there's a few things. If I do go with the Intel build in there with the 12th gen, potentially 13th gen when it actually comes out, there's a strong possibility that I'm going to need more than a 240mm radiator in there. And having it mounted pipes up in the front doesn't fill me with greatest of confidence, if I'm honest. But, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe it's fine. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. I think I probably need to do a build in it again to get a feel for the old girl and see what it's actually like in reality. I am kind of looking forward to going back into the Corsair ecosystem. I've currently got on my... No, I'm not looking at the monitor. I'm looking at the camera. Hello. Hi. I have got on my desk at the moment the creaky Corsair M55 mouse and the K70 Mark II RGB keyboard. And I kind of like the keyboard because it's got a volume rocker. I do like keyboards with volume rockers. That does work for me. The switches could do with being a little bit quieter, but they're red and they're captive, so there's nothing I can do about it. I'm almost tempted to desolder them and put in Cherry MX browns.
You can make them quieter by putting that headset on.
Yeah. Which headset's that? The loud one. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't hear the keys. I would only hear the headset.
There's a review coming up shortly on the Sennheiser HD 599 SE headphones, which Bob very, very kindly sent to us. well, to me, because you can't put 2 people in at the same time. But because they're open-backed headphones, you can actually use them with 2 people at the same time, especially in this room. So I was reviewing them the other night for a few hours, and Kath could basically hear every single thing that I was listening to. And it didn't go down particularly well.
It was like louder than my own.
Yeah, Kath's got her PC on with her speakers, and she could hear my headphones over her speakers. So, yeah, that didn't go down very well. Oh dear. O'Reilly says, Mike's next project, make a case out of Lego and live stream it. I wonder if you could. That would be quite interesting to do, actually. Fenvello says, I use IKEA was it Carlby desks, which are very nice. Okay. O'Reilly says, 4000D versus 5000D for me is a clear choice. Always a 5000D if you can get it or budget for it. Yeah, I think the 5000D would have made more sense. But then that would have given me another thing of like, oh, you can put in more 140mm fans, so I'd have ended up buying 140mm fans. There's always something. Michael Thompson says, sweet mouse mat. Yeah, this was sent by William Bodie, bless his heart. Sent over. It's actually really comfortable. But it's one of those things that, because it is actually really nice, I don't actually want to use it all the time because I'll get it all filthy. Literally, when I'm sat at my desk, I am a mucky bastard. I really am. The other day, what was it? Oh, I was using some coconut oil. And because it's been hotter than a hot thing over here, coconut oil and heat goes, it just turns into basically liquid rather than being a solid. And I was dripping it all over my keyboard and everything. So I would have got coconut oil on this, and anyone who's had a mouse mat will know that oil on a mouse mat is almost impossible to get out without hard work or possibly ruining the image or whatever's printed on it.
If you leave it there, the cats sleep on
Yeah.
it.
The cats will, if I leave it here, the cats will use it as their sleeping bed, and it'll just be covered in fleas and fur. Dirty bastards.
And mud.
And mud.
If it rains.
And possibly a little bit of scheisse, which is never good. If you want scheisse on it, that's not a good look. Especially when you're mousing and also they get stuck and you've got like a big skid mark on your mouse mat. Oh, horrid.
When's that ever happened?
It hasn't happened, but in my mind it might one day.
It's thick.
Fenvelo says 4000D in white and grey looks very nice as it makes those yellow accents pop. Yeah, it does actually. George's PC has got it. He's got everything basically set to kind of yellow. But anyone who's got yellow in a PC will know that yellow in RGB always looks kind of like a greeny kind of canary kind of yellow. Not a very nice rich one. David Underhill, I had fitted my Lianli Evo with a 360mm AIO and 16 addressable RGB fans. Should be able to keep up my Ryzen 5 5600 cool. I think it definitely should do. Old Man Withers says, hi Mike, and all better late than never. Nether? Weathers? Nether? Oh. I've lost the ability to speak. Okay, so... Whopper says, next PC build should name it Skidmark. If I put some Noctua fans in there, it could quite easily be. Jose says 4000D or 5000D, it all depends on the hardware in or budget. Yeah, the 5000D was, I think it was 110 pounds on Prime Day. So it was £30 more expensive. I get a little bit twitchy anywhere over £60 when it comes to buying a case, if I'm honest. So I kind of like to go down the value route, or at least wait until they're on sale. The 5000D I think would have offered more, but I kind of hesitated. I literally went up to, I think it was like 1 minute to midnight when the sale was on, and I was like, do I, don't I, do I, don't I? And I had the 4000D in my basket. I was like, oh, I'll get it. It's probably going to be fine. But there's going to be, I know there's going to be something in me which says, should have got a 5000. Although saying that, I don't know whether it physically would have fitted in my little cubby hole where it belongs. So I'm going to have a quick look a minute and see what size the 5000D is. Trouble is, if you type in 5000D on some sites, it just shows you big old inflatable boobies. Which, yeah, 5000D are the proper kind of knee covers. They are huge. Anyway, I digress. Actually, the Corsair 5000D Airflow currently is available at awdit.co.uk for £115 at the moment. I'm not sure if that is with free delivery as well. So that isn't actually, that's actually not bad. Amazon are more expensive, as they tend to be, so £129.99. There was a 5000D at CCL, which was a grade D, and it's missing one of the feet on the back, which I could have easily replaced with a block of wood, and I think it was like £60 or something stupid. See, I wonder if it's still there. I'm going to look. CCL Online. CCL Online, we're not sponsored by them, not affiliated with them, don't know anybody who works there or anything, but their clearance section is awesome. It really is, so you can pick up some really, really good deals. They got things like Cooler Master Masterbox NR 400 at the moment for 60 quid, which is pretty sweet. Fantex Eclipse P500A, 81 quid. Not bad at all. I should put this on the screen, but I actually don't know how to. Actually, yeah, I do. I can do that, can't I? If I press desktop, is it going to show that desktop or this one? We'll find out now. Yes, it worked. Oh, Jose's still there. God, Jose, whatever. Get off my screen, where are you? Clear. No offense. There we go, and desktop. Boom, there we go. So, just so you know what I was talking about there. So, yeah, they're CCL. If you've not seen them before, clearance section, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I've actually got things in my basket. What have I got? Oh, God, I don't want those anymore. Actually, that's not a bad price, is it? Jesus, that's cheap. I want to look at that. Wow. That is bloody good value. It can still be available. So a B560M Pro VDH Wi-Fi for 42 quid. Are you actually shitting me? That's really good. I don't want one, but that is good. Anyway, back to, oh God, clearance cases. Oh, oof. Clearance cases, there we go. So let's go by price. So we've got the CIT Elite, boom, what a case. The Kamikaze Pro, they always have hundreds of these. Well, not hundreds, that's exaggerating, but generally a reasonable number of them, let's say. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow. So clearly they get a few of those sent back. I think what it is because they build systems in them, and then because the customer wants to upgrade the case, they then can't sell it as brand new. So I think that's what C grade generally is. So it's just been built in before. But you get a decent saving on it, 45 quid for the Kamikaze Pro. They're normally about 60. So yeah, that's not bad at all. Oh, there's another one. Oh, that's a B grade, so that might have a box. 500, be quiet, Meshlissus. That's an interesting looking case, that little Regintech ITX.
Free delivery by the 24th of October. Somebody put.
Oh, was it? Oh, that might have been when I looked at it last. So, oh, it doesn't look like they're going to have it. No, it looks like those other ones have gone. A grinding bar for a server rack, nice. A vertical, oh, that's really expensive. So there's nothing good there. So let's have a look at, sorry, I've got to do this. Processors, what have they got? The Ryzen 7 3700X is still quite expensive.
James Brock said, what about the Tor?
The Tor?
What's that?
I can't see it. What, TOR?
TOUR.
Oh, what, studio tour?
Oh, I don't know, maybe.
I'm not sure myself. Right, let's go back to the main camera and I'll get my stuff.
Oh, de France.
Tour de France? Not allowed in France. Too many French people there. Where is that thing gone? Come on. Sorry, I'm trying to get my screens lined up. There we go. Ah, good. I know I shouldn't have said boobies because everyone gets all... I suppose the letter hasn't been on there actually.
But Ugly Bob will be even more excited. 69 watching.
Oh yeah.
Ugly Bob.
Nice. Oh, 72 now. Damn it. Where are we? So Dave Aiken, about a year ago I panicked and bought the 5000X. Bought it for 106 on a flash deal and pressed buy, changed my mind and cancelled it. They're easily £50 more now. Yeah. I do like the idea of the 5000X. Sorry, the 5000D. Airflow. If they do that, they do, don't they? I'll lose my mind. I am tempted. I don't know. Do I send it back? Do I keep it? I don't know. I really don't know. I've got it for 30 days because it's Amazon, so I can send it back. Trouble is, it's my video editing machine. So if I do a build in it and I don't like it, it's like, ugh, can't do any work. But then technically what I'm doing is work. Anyway, yeah, you get the idea. James Brock says, not a cheap case for sure. No. Lessa says, the Corsair 4000D looks much better. There's room for a 360 rad on top, front or side. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about it is the fact that you can put a 360mm rad on the side. I've never been a big fan of that placement of a 360 on the side. I've got it in there, and it kind of works in that case, but in a traditional ATX style case, I don't think it does so much.
Put it out to a channel poll.
Yeah, I should do it as a poll. I can't do that now, can I? No. Why won't it let me do that? Stupid thing. I'm going to do that. I'm going to post on Monday on the community tab the choices, and whatever you lot say is what I'll do. That's fair enough, I think. O'Reilly says the France versus the Netherlands are going to extra time now. Oh, so there is on that. Let's scroll down a bit. So. Mark Point says, what was Intel thinking about on that god-awful colour scheme on the 9th gen? Yeah, it was a bit weird, wasn't it? David Underhill says, the Corsair case prices here in Oz, 4000D Airflow, 65 GBP, and the 5000D Airflow, 110 GBP. Christ, that's really good. That is very good. Shockingly good. Bob says, yeah, put it to a channel poll. Does it stay or does it go? Fair enough. That's what I'll say when I do the return, if I have to do the return. Reason for return. YouTube poll told me I had to. Wonder if there is an option for that. I think there is an other. Junior says, I hate that cases are getting so expensive these days. I remember when the 4000D AF was 60, now it's almost 90. It is, yeah. Just Fly says, keep it. The 5000D is too big. I didn't even check the size of it actually. Let me go back to the other screens. So where's the sizes? Trouble is on Amazon, they don't always say the sizes of the actual unit. They do the size of the bloody case, which is kind of pointless. So 52 by 24.5 by 52. So that does sound about right. So 52, no, that is not going to cut that. Well, actually, I could glue these two together with a little bit of sticky. And what's that, 40? Improvise. So 52, so that's there. That doesn't sound very high. In fact, that's only about 4mm taller.
And you won't get a cat on there then.
No, that's true.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, that might be the way forward. That might well be the way forward. It'll definitely fit in that, yeah, because actually the 4000, I had the, no, what did I have? The 750, the Corsair 750, which is an absolute monster. That was in there, and it literally came up to the top.
And you had to take the door off because your hinges were too big.
I did have to take the door off because the hinges wouldn't let me put the case in. Every time I wanted to change anything in the computer, I had to remove the hinges from the cabinet. That was not good. Fenvelo says airflow, 5000D airflow in white does look really nice. Mark Point says, wow, 0-0 in a football game, ask my money back and time. Yeah, you'd want a winner, wouldn't you? Michael Thompson says, go ITX as cases are cheaper than ATX ones. Well, they're not. That's the trouble over here. Even though our ATX and micro ATX cases aren't the cheapest, the ITX ones are ridiculously expensive. Like, silly expensive. I don't think there's any ITX cases which are half usable in the UK for less than £100. Easily. Mark Point says, sad but truth, the ITX case-in price-in. I don't know which direction you're going there, but yeah, it is Captain Me's Adventures. James Brock says, less features in ITX Mobo. Not necessarily less features, but just less connectivity. I suppose features, connectivity, arguably it's the same thing, isn't it, really? But yeah, ITX boards, everything in ITX in the UK, and I'm guessing to some extent in Europe as well, is ridiculously expensive for actually not very good stuff. Oh yeah, ITX PSUs, they're nuts as well. And they're not getting any cheaper. I've actually got a SFX Thermaltake Tough Power 450 watt, which I need to find a use for, really. I should do a little mini build again some point. What was that?
Whitley Bob.
David Aikens says, Silverstone do some cheap, decent ITX cases. Got one for £40. Mesh front panel, could take front 140mm, full-size PSU, and a reference RX 480. Oh yeah, what was that one? I'm trying to think what it's called. I do recall that one. It had like a slotted mesh on the front, if I remember rightly. Can't think what the name of it was now. Yeah, I did like that. Right, it is currently 1 minute past 10 o'clock, so I think we're probably going to have to call that a day. My throat is actually getting to the point where it is getting a little bit hoarse, or coarse, or all of the above. So, hopefully you've enjoyed tonight's stream. If there's anything else you want to know about the 4000D, pros, cons, measurements, etc., let me know in the comment section, and also there'll be a video coming out, I guess it'll be in a couple of weeks' time now, because the delay factor, etc. Although those of you that are patrons or Discord patrons or YouTube members, you'll get it obviously probably in a few days or so when I actually do it. But we'll see what happens. I might do a build in it and then send it back anyway. Good old Amazon, they love that sort of thing. That's why we pay the privilege of Amazon Prime, isn't that right? Just make sure. William Bodie says Mike needs a solid base PC for the channel. It's all right. What I've got at the moment is absolutely fine. I don't really need it, but it would be nice. Lucky Man says, why put a decent looking build in a cupboard, then behind a door? Surely a waste of a good build. It's kind of, the door's open generally. It's only when we go to bed that everything gets locked away, so to kind of hide it away. I probably need to get rid of those units. They're a pain in the ass, but they are quite good for storing stuff. Sorry? What's that?
Henny.
Henny?
I haven't really read it.
Henny said, I had a Corsair 75D, broke my case during an epileptic seizure. Sorry to hear that. Not sure whether the motherboard is still working though. Rebuild a Ryzen 5 4500. I do miss the Corsair 750D. It's a shame they didn't do an airflow version of that. They kind of did, but it didn't kind of work out because you had all those drive bays and stuff. Would have been nice if it was like fans all the way up. It would have been awesome. And Stuart Clary is coming with a last minute €20 super chat. I was going to say my eyesight seems to be getting better, but I did have to peer at that a little bit. Although euros and the pound sign looks very similar. especially from, what, 3 foot nearly?
Also, isn't once Stuart Cleary meant to be going out tonight?
I think you went to a comedy night the other night.
I thought you said it was tonight.
Not sure. Anyway. James Brock says, sorry I missed so much. Don't worry, it's all good. You can watch it back if you want to. It isn't that exciting. I just wanted to give people an overview of the case. I know it's super popular. There's going to be loads and loads of questions. So I wanted to try and get as much covered as possible. Would have been nice actually to have maybe spent even longer and tried doing some test fitting of radiators and stuff just to get an idea and put some motherboards in. I might even actually still just do that, do a standalone video and say, right, this is what physically fits in it. Although I'll probably try and wrap it up in the review itself. Anyway, I think that is going to do it for this one.
Show them.
Oh God. Kath says I've got to show the cats.
They love the Corsair box.
Yeah, I don't think the Corsair box is going to be able to go because they're still using it. Little swines. Flame!
Flamey.
Maisie! Lazy bastards. Anyway, see, they pay no attention. They pay no attention whatsoever. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for now. Hopefully you've had a good evening. Thank you all so much for joining us on this stream. Don't forget to share the videos if you can. That really helps the channel. Thank you all massively for your patronage, your YouTube membership, and also obviously your super chats as well. They are massively appreciated. Hopefully you've had a relatively enjoyable Saturday evening. I've enjoyed myself, even if you haven't, so it's worth it to me. Kath, you had a good night?
Yeah.
She's still smiling over there, so that's a good sign. She's not getting up.
Look at the fucking time!
She doesn't do that. I just made
I
that.
don't wear a watch.
Yeah, she hasn't got a watch, so she's usually pointing at a wrist.
Don't work.
What's the matter? You got a wrist ache or something? Crazy woman. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to have to click on that one now and try and click on end stream. Hopefully you've all had a good evening. We'll see you again, hopefully, all things considered, next Saturday, 8 PM UK time. Until then, I'll be Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching. Your stream will end immediately and you'll no longer be live. Yep, that is the intended outcome. See you all. Bye.